you're probably wondering, who am I? It's a very good question. I am Elita Kalane. I am from Latvia, Riga, and I work for eazyBI team for around a year and a half now, so not that long. Previously, I worked for big corporations for over 10 years, and for the most part, I was leading a team. So building reports and analyzing data was one of my key tasks. Before I head into the further presentation, I wanted to share one example from years ago. When I joined the first corporation, I was very young, inexperienced, very ambitious, but I always went along with the phrase, "We do this because we've always done so, so do not question the processes." Especially when you work for the service center, you really go with what the management says. So when I became a team leader, and we had our SLA was 48 hours to resolve our tickets. And we didn't hit our targets. And with my gut feeling, I knew that we can't hit our targets because the clock could start in the middle of the night, Latvia time, because it would come from US. But we might need to wait for the approver to respond or give the approval in Australia, which is a totally opposite side of the world, in a totally different time zone. And again, we spend time waiting for approval to come. And if there are some questions you need to clarify, you still spend a lot of time. So we are the middleman. We can't control the time zone. We can't hit our targets. We can't get our bonuses. So it just didn't seem fair. And with my gut feeling, I knew that this was the reason we're not hitting the targets. But I can't go to the management and say, "Hey, I feel like this is not fair." So what I did back then, I spent countless of hours going through every breach ticket manually and checking out the reasons. I didn't have the right tools back then to do it with a few clicks, like I would be able to do now today with eazyBI. But it's not the point. The point is really how facts can help over the emotion, the feeling, and how you can change things. So even though I did spend a lot of time analyzing this data, gathering this data, I eventually got to a report that proved my case. I went to my management and said, "No, we gotta change this. It doesn't make any sense." And the saddest part is that when the team was focusing on the speed, the quality dropped. The first time, results were very sad. So I said I have to focus on quality over the speed. So I did, and we changed the SLAs, and it made more sense of what we were measuring. So the message I learned that do not be afraid to challenge yourself, your colleagues, and a management can use a challenge sometimes too. And don't follow the approach, "It's always been done so it must be right." Okay, so enough about my crazy experience. The agenda for today. So I do want to talk about how reports can be useful tools when you want to make some data-driven decisions, such as changing the SLA. How eazyBI reports can help for agents and customers in Jira Service Management, how you can build the reports, and how you can provide facts to the feelings when you decide on your next steps or improvements. And a big part of my presentation will be about sharing the reports, be transparent, do not hide, and how you can do that with eazyBI. So since I started my career 12 years ago, I learned quickly that data is the treasure. When you have a good set of data and you ask the right questions, it can become very powerful in communication. It helps to build bridges. It helps to build trust between the teams and management, avoid any rumors, and then it's also a healthier environment to work in. It helps to reflect on the efforts you have made and make justified decisions. And it doesn't necessarily always mean the easiest decisions. So as I mentioned, the first step is to agree, preferably between all involved parties, what we are measuring, what makes sense to be measured. How are we going to do it? Why are we going to measure it? What's in it for us? Another good point is to decide on what doesn't make sense measuring, what we are not going to measure. While we have a sense that things are going well, it is more effective to confirm this through data, which is why we measure things. We cannot rely solely on our feelings. By talking to some of you today, I can again confirm, and also from my own experience, that when you work in a service center, it is very unlikely that you will be working in one system or one app. So you might, over time, when your processes grow or you acquire some more clients or customers or businesses, you might be also acquiring more systems, so it piles up. I think I remember for us it was around 50 systems we were using, and oftentimes they overlap and you want to analyze all of them. So it would be really, really nice to have one platform where you can consolidate all this data and analyze it, which is also where eazyBI comes into the picture. Or for instance, you want to pull in the information about the work logs or rates for your agents, and you want to also analyze that. So shared reports is shared understanding. It's also crucial to have the reports available for everyone, so everyone's on the same page. There's no misunderstandings. It's easy to find these reports, and it's easy to use them. So access to the reports is quite crucial. So there's no interpretation between anyone. This is how you can improve trust again. So let's imagine, or we don't have to imagine, lots of you or most of you are using Jira, and you provide services, and you not only want to know how well you're doing, but you also want to show it to everyone else. So this is why I would like to show you how you could do that with eazyBI. And to do that, we have to start from the beginning. What is eazyBI? Can you raise hands for those of you who have heard about eazyBI or use it or... Wow, okay. So for a few of you who do not know what eazyBI is, eazyBI is a business intelligence app with the main purpose for data analysis and the main integration with Jira and Confluence. Very simple. And with eazyBI, the main purpose, you can analyze your data. It has a very nice feature using drag and drop features. You can arrange, add, remove your data elements. The multi-dimensional pivot tables provide a very comprehensive view of your data. Users can change the filter criteria. And of course, you can use the conditional formatting to highlight the critical areas or some metrics that are being breached or getting close to a dangerous zone, so to say. An important part is to visualize, of course, your data. We have many customizable chart types that you can choose and use. And the dashboards are interactive, so you can simultaneously filter them. This is one of the nicest eazyBI benefits, that you can drill into data from your report, so you don't have to build an additional report if you want to look at your data from a different angle. And right, so sharing your reports is as crucial as well. Share with your teams, your management, and maybe your customers too. So you have options to display large screen wallboards, or you want to set up automatical email updates to receive your dashboards, or you also have an option to share the dashboards in the customer portal. If you're using not only Jira but other sources, you have an option to integrate with different apps that you can connect to, or you have other sources that you can connect using REST APIs or SQL. So you don't necessarily only need to be in Jira to use eazyBI. And as well from the marketplace, Atlassian has quite a lot of apps that you may be also using, and eazyBI has integration with lots of the apps as well that you can connect to and import the data. So if you use eazyBI, we do care about your security, and we are SOC 2 certified and cloud fortified vendor, and we do participate bug bounty programs as well. When you work with eazyBI and the eazyBI support team, and if you use our documentation page as well, you might see this sentence that we usually use to describe eazyBI. Simple things easy, complex things possible. That's how we think of ourselves. And from my own experience, being with the eazyBI team for a year and a half, practice is the key to make the complex things possible. So when you're in Jira and you work in a service center, you have all kind of processes. Your Jira helps you to become more effective, efficient, and you also use the platform to communicate. It's used to communicate between agents, customers, stakeholders, many involved parties. And I would like to show you examples how eazyBI can help you enhance this communication. To start building reports, you need your data. So magical cycle starts with a request. A customer logs the request, something they can't solve themselves, so they contact the help center via customer portal. They fill the ticket. Potentially, the more data they provide, potentially they could be helped faster. Not always, but could be the case. The better they describe the problem, the sooner they might get the response or the ticket resolved. The agent receives the ticket through Jira. So this is where, depending on the processes and workflows, this is where they can fill all kind of additional fields that you can later use to analyze your reflect on your work. So who has reported the ticket? What was the request type? Maybe you want to add some labels. It really depends on everyone's processes. And the ticket ends when it's closed, when it's resolved. This is where you would want to reflect on how did I do? How was my work done? And then eazyBI comes into the picture. To present the results, you would first import them. And this is what is considered the main eazyBI advantage, where you don't need to worry about the data mapping. You go into the import options, select every field you need or you want to analyze, and then you import it, and boom, the magic happens. Lots of measures, pre-calculated measures are already imported in your report, and you can immediately start using the measures. So for instance, here is an example of a report you might possibly want to create. You would like to analyze time to resolution met versus time to resolution breached. Here you can see a target being a separate line, so you can see if it was below or above, and the percentage as well. You could potentially filter this particular report based on a issue type or maybe some priorities, or you want to add some label filters. These are the main benefits analyzing data with eazyBI, because you can analyze it based on all kind of requirements. And then to change. Yeah, this is the filters that you can use. As I mentioned previously, the drill into feature, where you can click on any value that you see in the report. For example, in this report, you want to see where the breached results, and you want to drill across the assignees. Maybe you need to find out more information. What happened that week? Was there anything in particular? You want to raise this. And then it changes the layout of your report, and you can immediately see which assignees were involved. And sometimes you maybe want to drill across the very good results and just to reach out to assignees and tell them you're doing an amazing job. Another advantage of eazyBI is that you can combine multiple SLAs, and you can add, for example, customer satisfaction to see the correlation between the satisfaction rates and SLA cycles. And you can maybe see any patterns if there were, if the satisfaction rate was higher when the tickets were resolved faster or in time, or if the satisfaction rates were higher when you first responded to the customers. And of course, again, the conditional formatting, if you want to highlight the best weeks or the worst weeks and see if there was anything in particular that happened. And another good feature is that you can add multiple vertical axes to your reports as well. Here's an example of a potential customer satisfaction rate survey that you might want to see and communicate to your team as well. How the customer evaluates the service provided. This is an example where average satisfaction with user reviews are split per project. With Markdown formatting, you can add some symbols to make it more eye-catching. In this case, it's a star symbol. And again, you can add additional filters if you want to filter out specific assignees or a specific time period. It's it depends on what exactly is it that you want to see. Here is an example of a pie chart if you want to split your SLA by priorities and see how many are very high or low priority tickets. This is a good example of an overview of your most essential KPIs, for instance, time to first response or time to resolution, average satisfaction rate. You can see the color coding. It's set up based on the thresholds to make it, again, more eye-catching. If it's red, so something's wrong, it's not hitting the target. You can include the additional calculations to for comparison and trend analysis. You can utilize the spark lines and, again, incorporate some Markdown formattings as well. So for internal processes, you might consider eazyBI dashboards to present like a consolidated view of your reports. It's a nice tool, but don't get maybe too excited and don't put too many reports there, because the more is not always the better. Sometimes if you have so many reports in one place, it becomes overwhelming and frustrating, and people just don't want to look at it because they don't understand anything. Focus on what really matters, what makes sense, what is it that what's the message you want to pass to your team or to your management. Maybe you want to have separate dashboards for the management and for the team, so that it's not overwhelming everyone. For external communication, I think I mentioned you can use the customer portal. This is how you can engage with your customers. Sometimes the customers may get frustrated if they're not getting their responded very quickly, like 5 minutes ago before they even opened the ticket. This is where it could be useful if you want to share what's the workload for you, and then they might be more understanding to see that the help center is having quite a huge backlog, and they can then be more relaxed in terms of waiting until their ticket is resolved. You can grant the access to the dashboards based on individual for individual rights or for organizations. Yeah, here's an example of the reports you might want to share. This one's the created versus resolved, and then there's the unresolved example as well. In eazyBI, we do think that sharing is caring, and that's probably one of the top reasons I joined the company, because I am a strong advocate of transparency. I don't like to hide information, even if it's not as positive as everyone would like. It always builds trust, and trust is very crucial, especially when I worked in the service center. So why sharing is important? It enhances the communication and motivation of employees. It improves the performance, and it avoids rumors. At some point when I worked at the service center, we introduced visual boards. At the beginning, it was frustrating because we had to update them on daily basis with all the latest KPIs and how well we were doing or how bad we were doing. But I have to admit that it did increase the performance, because we would see the results every day in front of our eyes, and it did improve our performance. So that's my personal experience. The most convenient way to share reports in eazyBI is the eazyBI dashboards, as I mentioned previously. This is where you can combine different reports that you create and put them in one place. And a good thing is that you can use the common page filters. So if you want to only see about your results, you filter yourself, and then the whole dashboard will simultaneously respond to the filter. If you don't want to open an eazyBI interface, you can add it to your Jira as a gadget directly into Jira. So no need to access eazyBI if that doesn't make you comfortable. And even in Jira, you can use the filters to interact with all the reports in the dashboard. And sometimes there are people who don't want to open eazyBI or Jira, but they still want to be informed about some of metrics or results. So they might want to receive their dashboards in email. We do have a solution for them as well. They would simply subscribe to the dashboards. What you would do is look for the email icon and set a scheduled time when you want to receive the dashboard. And admins can also subscribe other users to the dashboards as well. And once they have subscribed to the dashboard, they will get a PDF file in their mailbox at a scheduled time. They can go even a step further. I believe it was last year we introduced a new feature, a conditional alert feature. It's when you receive an email when a measure or a metrics has breached or a set threshold that has been reached. So you would again receive an email when this metrics has reached a very dangerous zone that you have set. How to do that? Here's a small video. Is that you open the report in which you want, for which you want to be alerted. You set the rule, and then you enable the alert option, and the next time the incremental import happens, the automatic import of eazyBI report happens, and if the result has reached the threshold, an email will be sent out about this, informing about this change of measures. And this is how you can share the dashboards in customer portal, and you can access you can give access to the dashboards in customer portal individually or for the organizations. So a bit of a wrap up. What I would like you to remember about eazyBI is that eazyBI, the advantage of eazyBI is that it reads the Jira structure. You do not need to spend time on mapping your data. Most of the crucial measures or formulas have been imported for you, and you simply, that's the simple part of eazyBI. You don't need to focus on data mapping. You can spend more time on figuring out if there's anything you want to improve in your processes, or you can spend time communicating to your team or your customers. So we want to make the reporting easy for you. And we want you to use eazyBI to help you to be rational and add the facts and figures to your story that comes from Jira. We do want you to be on the same page with all your team members on what you measure and why you measure. So we are strong advocates also with transparency. Aim for shared and synchronized understanding of terminology and the key metrics across the team. We do also encourage to use the same reports. You don't need to invent the wheel. You can use our sample reports and use your own data on top of the already built reports, or you can use the same reports across departments because you will be probably using the same fields from Jira. Our aim, our goal is to make eazyBI easy for you. And the different integrations that we continuously create is how we do this to make it easy for you. It makes our simple reports easy. Complex things such as advanced calculations, flexible data integration, customizable dashboards, and establishing new relations between your external data sources. This is how we make complex things possible for you. I think I'm reaching my deadline already. So I want to say a huge thank you for your time and for your attention. To close this presentation, I want to remind that when communicating, don't use feelings, use facts and figures to evaluate the progress and whether any action needs to be taken. Thank you. So we will be here at the booth today and tomorrow if you have any questions or you want to see some reports or examples or you have any questions. Thank you.